let's talk about what it would be like to actually fight an oppressive government. The first thing that we need to think about and we need to be conscious of is that any militarized force is going to be wearing body armor. So when we're out practicing, we need to make sure that we're aiming at head-sized targets, okay? If the military were to be used or law enforcement were to be illegally used against us, we need to realize and come to terms with the fact that we're only going to be able to reasonably take headshots, especially with our sidearms. It's very important that we practice repetition. This is only 3 repetitions, and as you can see by the end, my shots are getting more and more accurate. That being said, a handgun's a very difficult thing to master. It's something that you need to be consistent with and put a lot of rounds through. The first thing that I want to talk about is what we could do to combat heavy equipment. MRAPs, maybe not tanks, but definitely heavily armored vehicles. Option number 1 is paint. All it takes is a handful of people throwing water balloons filled with paint. These vehicles can't maneuver very well if they can't see. These vehicles are hard to see out of in the first place. And if there's paint all over the windows, they're going to have a very hard time trying to fight you. The second thing that we can utilize would be a Molotov cocktail. Now, MRAPs are going to be inherently water and smoke resistant, but a team of 3 to 5 people with 30 or 50 Molotov cocktails, if you can keep it on fire and burning for any short extended amount of time, the gaskets in the rubber components and exposed electrical are going to start to get fried. And it's just not going to take very long before you disable the vehicle and you start heating them up and smoking them out of the vehicle. The last thing that we could talk about that your average citizen should have and utilize would be a 20-inch AR-15 chambered in 5.56, and you can buy green tip armor-piercing rounds online. Also, if you would like the government not to know that you have it, within reason, you can buy an 80% lower and a 20-inch AR-15 upper without a background check in most states, as long as you're 18 years old and you have a state-issued ID. That being said, more importantly than anything else is practice and repetition. Because you could have all the equipment in the world, and if you can't use it and you're not accurate, it's completely worthless to you, your family, and your country. Everybody stay safe. Put the practice in. Put the work in. Arm yourself. Equip yourself. If you found this information useful, insightful, please hit that thumbs up, subscribe, the bell icon, and if you would consider donating to me on Patreon, it would go a long ways in helping me get better equipment and to put more rounds downrange. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.